My name is Deborah, and I work at the Three Rivers Public Library. I'm going to read from The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. And this book is about a teenager on a reservation who decides to go to an all-white school called Reardon, and he's dealing with, is he an Indian or is he white? His friends at the school are Gordy and Penelope, and his sister is writing a romance novel. This book was banned or challenged because of some violence and sexuality and racism and a few other things, but Sherman, Alexie, the author, writes that these things are real and he can't protect teenagers from them. And so he's writing from his own experiences, and this is semi-autobiographical in nature. So, this chapter is called Red versus White. You probably think I've completely fallen in love with white people, and that I don't see anything good in Indians. Well, that's false. I love my big sister. I think she's double crazy and random. Ever since she moved, she sent me all these great Montana postcards. Beautiful landscapes and beautiful Indians. Buffalo, rivers, huge insects. Great postcards. She still can't find a job, and she's still living in that crappy little trailer. But she's happy, and she's working hard on her book. She made a New Year's resolution to finish her book by summertime. Her book is about hope, I guess. I think she wants me to share in her romance, and I love her for that. And I love my mother and my father and my grandmother. Ever since I've been at Reardon and seen how great parents do their great parenting, I realize that my folks are pretty good. Sure, my dad has a drinking problem, and my mom can be a little eccentric, but they make sacrifices for me. They worry about me, they talk to me, and best of all, they listen to me. I've learned that the worst thing a parent can do is ignore their children. And trust me, there are plenty of Reardon kids who get ignored by their parents. There are white parents, especially fathers, who never come to the school. They don't come for their kids' games, concerts, plays, or carnivals. I'm friends with some white kids, but I've never met their fathers. That's absolutely freaky. On the res, you know every kid's father, mother, grandmother, dog, cat, and shoe size. I mean, yeah, Indians are screwed up, but we're really close to each other. We know each other. Everybody knows everybody. But despite the fact that Reardon is a tiny town, people can still be strangers to each other. I've learned that white people, especially fathers, are good at hiding in plain sight. I mean, yeah, my dad would sometimes go on a drinking binge and be gone for a week, but those white dads can completely disappear without ever leaving the living room. They can just blend into their chairs. They become their chairs. So, okay, I'm not all goofy-eyed in love with white people, alright? Plenty of the old white guys still give me the stink eye just for being Indian, and a lot of them think I shouldn't be at the school at all. I'm realistic, okay? I've thought about these things, and maybe I haven't done enough thinking, but I think I've done enough to know that it's better to live in Reardon than in Welpinit. Maybe only slightly better. But from where I'm standing, slightly better is about the size of the Grand Canyon. And hey, do you want to know the very best thing about Reardon? It's Penelope, of course, and maybe Gordy. And do you know what the very best thing about Welpinit is? My grandmother. She's amazing. She's the most amazing person in the world. Do you want to know the very best thing about my grandmother? She was tolerant. And I know that's a hilarious thing to say about your grandmother. I mean, when people compliment their grandmothers, especially their Indian grandmothers, they usually say things like, my grandmother was so wise, and my grandmother is so kind, and my grandmother has seen everything. And yeah, My grandmother was smart and kind and had traveled to about 100 different Indian reservations, but that had nothing to do with her greatness. My grandmother's greatest gift was tolerance. Now, in the old days, Indians used to be forgiving of any kind of eccentricity. In fact, weird people were often celebrated. Epileptics were often shamans because people just assumed that God gave seizure visions to the lucky ones. And gay people were seen as magical too. I mean, like, in many cultures, men were viewed as warriors and women were viewed as caregivers. But gay people, being both male and female, were both seen as warriors and caregivers. Gay people could do anything. They were like Swiss Army knives. My grandmother had no use for all the gay bashing and homophobia in the world, especially among other Indians. Gee, she said, who cares if a man wants to marry another man? All I want to know is who's going to pick up all the dirty socks? That's why I read banned books.